Alright, I think we should be good now. I think the stream is not going to crash, hopefully. So, what are we going to do? We're going to do part 2 of how to make an AI Vtuber from scratch. So we had a tiny bit of code we had before in order to start. Basically what this will allow us to do is basically to have the chatbot interaction, right? You can interact directly with the LLM. But now we also need to clean that up. And we also need to add a TTS for it to work, right? I think for the TTS I'm going to go with 11 labs. It's not the one I would recommend, but it's the most straightforward to implement. Right? I think that's the one I'm going to go with. Alright, first we need to extract this and put it inside its own main loop function. We're gonna do that, new folder, that's going to be main loop. Yep, and file main loop .ts. There we go, now we're going to export function, it's going to be main loop. It's going to return a promise, and we don't really need any return value for this, so we are just going to return void. Alright, do we need any arguments? No, because it's going to run infinitely, so we don't really need to pass anything to it. And now we can just move all of this to the main loop function. There we go. Now we're just going to get the LLM and stuff. But for that, we're going to make things a bit more smartly organized, okay? So we need LLM, but we also need main loop. And we're gonna run this await main loop. There we go. It's going to be an async function. Alright. Now LLM, we can't really pass it to the main loop, so what we need to do is actually attach it to the AI Vtuber object, which is basically our global state object, right? So for that, we're just gonna have to go into state, and should have a modules field, right? For that, we're gonna create a new class. It's going to be export class modules, and we're gonna have different type of modules, right? So we're gonna have the LLM, which is going to be large language model. I think it's large language model. Alright, then we need the TTS, same I text to speech, if I have it implemented, which I don't, so we're just going to have LLM for now. Alright, do I have TTS? I do. We're just gonna rename it iTTS. There we go. Then TTS, I text to speech. Okay, the reason why I'm using interfaces here is because it's going to be easier to switch which implementation we want. For example, if we want to go back to novel AI, we can just assign a different class to it, right? So it should be easier. Alright, we have a LLM, TTS. What else? We need to have a constructor for this. Right, so we need a constructor. There we go. The LLM, which is going to be same I large language model. And TTS I text to speech. There we go. We assign them. So LLM equals dash LLM. And TTS equals dash TTS. There we go. That's this.llm. Alright. Now we're just gonna have a function to initialize the modules. So it's going to be modules init. I think it fits. It's going to be export async function. There we go. And there's going to be initialize modules. And do we need any parameters? I can't think of any, so we're just gonna leave it empty for now. And we're going to promise. And that's going to be a promise void. Because we are touching the state of a global object. Alright. But we're also going to need to deinitialize, that's even a word, to free the previous instances of the modules. So for that we're just gonna have a new file again. It's going to be modules free TS. It's going to be export async function. There we go. That's going to be preloaded modules. And params, we don't need anything for now. What program is this? It's the v3 program I have made, which is WIFU. You can check it out on GitHub. If you want a better documentation, you have this one. Right, but basically it allows you to have a AI Vtuber, right? And that's the goal. We're just making a rewrite of this one. And the program, if you're talking about the code editor, it's Visual Studio Code. All right. So preloaded modules, we're just going to go for what is it? Characters, TTS, state. Okay, we're gonna have a modules field, which is going to be a tab modules or undefined. We're gonna start as undefined. And we're gonna have modules init, which is going to create a new module. Modules type. At first we need to initialize the LLM and the TTS. And for this we need a config file, so everything is really falling into place right now. Okay, let's take a step back. Okay, so we have LLM, TTS. Okay, all of this is good. Let's go back to free, and we're gonna do the most basic thing we can do, right? So for we're going to iterate the fields of the modules object. So it's going to be object dot field, or it's fields? No, it's not fields, it's entries. I'm gonna pass in wfu.modules. And since they should all be inheriting from module, I think it should be fine. How do I solve this? Maybe a class is not the best for this. Maybe I just need a type. This way we can make it obvious what we want. I think it should be fine. It should be fine. So we do wfu modules, okay. Do we need to bang it? Yep, let's bang it. Now what we're going to do is do value dot something, except it's not recognizing it as something module. Can we do that? Module. I module. Nope. Let me think about this. Because I could make a type modules which is equal to a record of string, then I module. Right, except now we don't have the LLM TTS, except if we add it this way, LLM or TTS. Duplicate identifier. I think this could work. It's kind of weird looking. And also it's worse because we can't actually call the functions for the large language model and text-to-speech classes. So yeah, it's objectively worse, so we're not going to do this. The dumb way of doing it would be doing it as I module, but then would be sort of a war crime of doing it. But technically it could work, right? Could do await this. If I know for the fact that any fields of iModules is going to be something iModule, then we are fine, except it might not always be the case, which is an issue. Right. I guess I could just raw log it, right? Let's just assume the worst, and we're just gonna say wfu dot modules, right? We have const modules. This. Can I zoom? Right. LLM, and we're just gonna call free on it. There we go. And we await it. We're just gonna have to add a new line of code for every type of module we have. But the advantage with this is it's type safe. Right? So we're just gonna do that, and we're gonna say AI foo.modules is gonna be equals to undefined. This way we make it explicit that it's not meant to be used. There we go. Now we're going to init the modules. For now, we're just going to make it dumb, right? So we're gonna have a const LLM, which is going to be equal to a new large language model OpenAI. There we go. LLM, which is going to be of type a large language model. I'm gonna have the TTS, which is going to be of type I text to speech, and which is going to be a new something something, except we don't have anything right now, so we're gonna have to leave it hanging for now. What free LLM do you use? I don't use any free LLM. I don't have the hardware for it. Right now I'm using OpenAI. Alright. Now we're going to go to the TTS. For the TTS, we are going to implement the interface for... I think I'm going to go with 11 Labs. As I said before, I think it's the most straightforward way of doing it. Because if you go to Azure is it's an actual pain in the ass to get set up. So I'm not going to do that on stream. And Novel AI is it's very bad API. You have to have some kind of Python process running. So I'm not going to do that right now. Alright, so we're gonna go with TTS 11 Labs. .ts. There we go. We're gonna export class text to speech 11 Labs. There we go. There's going to be implements I text to speech. There we go. Now I know for a fact that... let me just... free init generate. There we go. We're gonna make all those async. Hello Norman. Hello Oshi, thanks for the raid. What's up? Alright, so for I2 speech, right now we're just returning nothing. So for that we're going to create a new type. Hello Espias. How do you say that? Space? I'm sorry, I'm very bad with names. Is Laggy eating a sister? I mean, I never said I would give her a sister, but yeah. Alright, so we're gonna have, that's going to be TTS results. I guess is the best way to call it. Alright, it's going to be export type TTS results, which is going to be... we're gonna need an ID for it, so it's going to be a string. And we're also gonna need a path to the audio file. So a string 2. There we go. And that's what we need for this. Yeah, I see the YouTube chat. I may be missing some chats because Restream. Yeah, I see the YouTube chat. Restream is very bad at actually doing its job, you know. Can I see the chat, please? Taking its sweet time. Now I do live chat instead of top chat. Yes, sup Dr. Glitchy. Hello, hello. Alright, can I pop this one out? Yes, okay. Going to be a lot easier. Yeah, I didn't put any notif for this. I don't have a specific role for dev streams. Since there isn't Hilda on stream, I'm not going to notify everyone on the Hilda server, you know. Hello, hello, Eternalius. Alright, so as we said, we're gonna have an option type for this because we have the possibility that it fails. And in that case, we don't want to throw an error, we want to handle this like adults, and we're gonna use an option type. Alright, and we're gonna have TTS result as the optional type. Now, 11 TTS labs. That's good and all. We just need to do the exact same thing. That's an option of TTS results. There we go. Screenshot over the channel link. Do you mean the Twitch one? If you want it, it's on Discord. Yeah? Okay, I'm just gonna put it there. Alright, so generate, we await, promise, blah 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 blah. Now we're just going to do something that is called a programmer move, which is we're just going to copy paste stuff. Right, give me just a second. Making sure I'm not leaking anything. Okay, new window. Let me close all. And we are back. Alright. So for that, we're just going to go into... was it TTS? I just wrote it last day, okay? So I'm not going to look at the documentation again. Okay. Sure. Oh, it's the wrong one. Of course, it's the wrong one. You have to open. That's Godot. There we go. 11 nabs. Is that the other C version? Yes. I think it should be fine. Alright. So that's for TTS, RVC. We're just gonna copy this. I think it should be fine. Right, we need to open back v3. Alright, and we paste this. Everything goes as planned. We format. Now it looks good. Why are you making an AI Vtuber from scratch? Something wrong with the current framework? Well, I'm always trying to see if I can improve aspects of the application, to see if I can make it more modulable. Right, I think the current one I have, the V2, is good enough. But I've made a lot of concessions, right? It's not really as good as it could be. Alright, let's try to fix the issues. So, generate. What does generate take as argument? Well, first, since it's text-to-speech, we need to have text. That makes a lot of sense. So we're just gonna have to go in the interface for TTS. We're gonna have a type for that. So it's going to be export type is going to be TTS generation args. Account type. There we go. And for generate, we're gonna have a text, which is going to be a string, and args, which is going to be of type TTS generation args. All right. Now for the TTS generation args, what do we need? We need either a seed or a voice name or something like this. Usually it's always going to be a string. So for that, we're just going to have the voice field, which is going to take in a string. And what else? For now, we're just going to leave it that way because I don't think of anything else. And we're gonna have to, of course, implement this here. So we're gonna have text, which is going to take a string, and args, which is going to take TTS generation args. There we go. Now we can modify this. That's going to be text, or is it? No, that's actually args.voice. There we go. Now we're also going to need a token for this, but I don't have anything for now. We're just gonna have to copy paste in the environment variables. For the stability, for now it's just going to be a magic value. 0.5, 0.5. There we go. And we return a result, which is not what I'm using right now. I'm using an option, so we need an option. Option, please, option type. Maybe it's not a... Right. Let me think about that. Right, if it's catch, then that means as value equals false. It's not an equals, plus it's JavaScript. And we're just gonna have the value be undefined, which is the default. There we go. And all right. Now if I look back at my code, I should really make a new window for that. Open folder. That's desktop. All right. So what I'm doing with this is, since it's streamed, we have to read everything and save it to a WAV file. And then we return the ID and the path. Right, that's pretty simple. Is narrator. Do I really need the is narrator argument? Because what it's used for is determining whether or not it's going to use voice cloning on it. I guess I'm gonna need it at some point. Okay, we're just going to copy this. Alright, path. There we go. Great. Alright, so we also need an ID for this. So that's going to be const ID, which is going to be a string. It's going to be from a package called crypto. It's going to be import everything as crypto from crypto. There we go. And ID is going to be equals to crypto dot it's UID, random UID. There we go. Alright, this way we have the ID. Do we have the same way of doing it for the audio files? No. So one thing I used to do for the V2 is have a folder in the source dedicated to audio files. I think I'm going to do it a bit differently this way. This time, instead of having a source, a folder inside of source, we're just gonna have a folder. It's going to be assets, and there we can add the sound, voice, audio. Yeah, let's call it audio. Of course, it's a file and not a folder. There we go. And we just need to modify this. That's going to be assets. There we go. Okay, so we get the reader from the body. We read fs, we don't have it ported, so it's going to be import everything as fs from fs, which is the file system package for Node.js. Okay, just remove this. There we go. And the path should be fine, except, if I remember correctly, I was trying to make it platform agnostic on this one. So for this, we're gonna have to import the path package. It's to be import everything as path from path. There we go. Now we're going to need to do path.join or something else. What was it? What was it? I don't remember which one what it was. I think it was something there. Yes, it's path.join, right? So this should work. Let's go back to this. Right, except I have a variable called path, so I think that's the issue. I'm just gonna rename it to audio path. This way we don't have any issues with this. And it's going to be equal to path.join. There we go. And the paths, so we have process.cwd, stands for current working directory. Then we have assets. Then we have audio. And then we have this little fella. There we go. And this, in theory, should be able to run on both Windows and Linux. Just gonna copy this. There we go. Now we write this, and we should have a file at the end of it. One thing we could do is have a console.error, console.warn, to get more information about the issue. Do I have anything in there? Is unknown. Interesting. Let's go with it for now. Right? Now that we have all of this, we can return as value is going to be equals to true, and the value itself is going to be a TTS result. So it's gonna need an ID, which is going to be ID itself, and the path is going to be audio path. There we go. This looks like actual shit. Well, it's pretty bad, but it does the trick. Alright, now we have everything that we need. I don't see any issues at first glance. We're gonna need a token for it. And stability, similarity boost, that's fine. Alright, now that we have this, we can continue with this. So it's going to be equals new text to speech. Text to speech 11 labs. There we go. Then once we have this, we're gonna do wifoo.modules.llm is gonna be equals to llm, and wifoo.modules.tts is gonna be equals to tts. Left hand assignments, blah blah blah. Okay. Right, because it can be undefined, so we're gonna have to first create a module object. Right? So we're gonna need to say modules is gonna be equals to new modules, and there we can pass in LLM and TTS. Alright. This should do the trick. Modules.free should also work. Alright. iModule, we don't need this anymore. Let's go back to the index file. Now we don't need this. What we need is actually to call initialize modules. I can't write for the life of me. And we need to await it, because I'm pretty sure... No, actually we don't. Interesting. Yes, I'm forgetting something really important. We need to call lm.init, and we need to await it, because for some implementations we're gonna have to actually have some extra steps in order to load everything. And that's actually wrong. We need to do new promise dot all settled dot all is resolved with an array of results when all of the provided promises resolve or rejected when any promise is rejected. Okay. So I think that should do it. The value is going to be an array, so it's going to be llm dot init and tts dot init. New expression which targets lack. Okay, so it's not new. Promise at all, and we need to get the results. So it's going to be. Do we actually need the results of it? No, we don't. That's the point. We actually don't need. We just need the functions to execute, but we don't actually care about the result. Okay, so that's fine. We can just leave it like this. Hello, hello. Alright, I think that's all we need. Let's go back to this. We await initialize modules. And that should do it. Now we while await main loop. And we're also gonna have to put this inside its own component. So for that, we're gonna have a new folder, which is going to be, I'm gonna do it like I used to do in the V2. It's going to be an input system. Can we have the stream? Alright, so input system. That's going to be, we're gonna have to have an interface. That's going to be input interface. Let me think about it, actually. If I want to have different type of user interface, having one type of input system is going to be an issue. Unless... I think it should be fine. Let's go with it. Interface.ts, so it's going to be export interface I input system. There we go. And that should extend iModule. So now I have a strong suspicion about who. Do you mean the fake accounts? I have some suspicions too. Not sure, entirely sure though. Kinda weird. Alright, read only. So we don't need to that iModule. For the input system, what do we need? We need a way to Is it nomenclature being schizo again? Would not surprise me. Okay, so let's go with get inputs, I guess. It's a good way to say it. Let's make it get input. That's going to return a promise, which is going to return a string or undefined or an option. Let's go with an option. Option, which is going to return a string. Nope. Not a string. Let's not go with a string. Let's go with something a bit more complex. Let's go with message.ts. There we go. We export a type, and that's going to be type message, which is going to be similar to how I do it on the V2. So that's going to be a username, which is going to be a string. String, please. Okay, we're gonna have a content, which is going to be the body of the message, which is going to be a string. We also need to know if it is trusted. Alright, so trusted is going to be a boolean. And we also gonna have some other function. Username content trusted. What was I thinking? Username. What I did with the other one is have a way to force the reading of the message, right? Should I make it also this way? Let me double check in the implementation. That's no, I don't actually. Interesting. So I guess I don't need to. Alright. Let's just go with it for now. So there's going to be an input option message. There we go. And get input should be a function. For some reason. Oh, maybe because I forgot this. Alright, get input. Promise everything should be fine. Now we need to actually have input system for the console. So it's going to be a file. Or we could also have let me think a bit more about this. Okay, so what I'm doing with the V2 is I have a global queue for the messages. But I'm wondering why would I need to await get input if I can just push everything to the queue directly. Let's go with it. Let's go with it. Let's go with a queue. We're gonna have a state. What I did do too is a queue and a priority queue. I think I'm just gonna stop reading chat. This is so brain dead. Okay, out of characters. We're gonna have the message queue. Up, it's going to be an array of message. And we're gonna have a priority queue. Which is also going to be message. I think. Yes. Let's go with it. There's no initializer, and okay, so we just need to make it this. There we go. So we got message queue, priority queue. Alright, and now, do we need this? Why am I using this? I need to check it out. Why am I doing this? I remember doing something like this. But the why though, why? I'm checking if the command queue is not empty. But I clearly don't need this. I can just do it some other way and just use the main loop itself as a way to poll. So I'm not even sure why I'm doing this. I think I'm just gonna have a singleton with no functions on it. I think it will work for some reason. The inputs, and since we're gonna extend iModule, we're gonna have the free and init functions. I think it should be enough. Alright, for input system, we're gonna have input console.ts. Export class, maybe input system console. It's going to be elements I input system. Alright, and now we just need to have a init function and a free function. There we go. And we can just put this and this. It's there. There we go. In fact, I don't think we need this. We just need our question. Does this work? Do we need to shift this or see? So nope. Doing something wrong. The read line. create interface, and we don't even need to resolve, we just need to say wi foo.state dot message queue, and we're gonna push back the answer, which is a string, but in that case we need to make it a message. Except we don't have the username, we don't have anything else, so for now we're just gonna have the username be user. We're gonna need a content which is going to be the answer, and we're gonna need trusted, which is going to be true because it's directly from the console, so it's fine. Promise, I guess we just need to make it async. Alright, so we got this, we got 3. I think it should be fine. No, it's not. Of course it's not. This question needs to be called. Right, you can't just leave it like this. Right, so that's why I did it. Okay, that's why I did this. That's why I did it that way. I understand now. So we need to get inputs. Right, that's going to be function that takes no arguments. It's going to be a promise. Promise, which is going to return an optional message. There we go. I think we should do it. Okay, now we need to add the function. So get input is going to be not a nothing function. We just need all question. Hello, the man. I guess we could have a private field for this. So it's going to be reader, which is going to be type reliant on interface, I guess. Interface, yes. It's gonna start as undefined. There we go. And we just need to do this dot reader is gonna be equals to this. And we just need to call this dot reader that question. All right. Hello, hello. What's up? All right. So we got reader, get input, type undefined is not assigned. Okay, that's fine. Just do this, and we just bang it. Okay. I think this should be fine. Get input. Now what do? We need to return a new promise. And the promise itself is going to take a resolver. And we need to put everything in there. This way. We can do this. Um, I don't need this. Alright, so I don't think I need to push it to the queue. Clearly, because if I'm just going to return it... Yeah... I guess we could just check if is resolved is gonna start as false. I'm gonna check if let msg is gonna be equal to waifu.state.messagequeue. Now we're gonna start with priority message queue. Dot shift. Then what we're gonna do is if not msg, no. If msg is not undefined, we're gonna return. Actually, we're not gonna return. We're gonna say is resolved equals true, and we're gonna do resolve message, and we're gonna return. That's what we do with this. Except it's not actually a message, it's as value, which is true, and the value itself is going to be a message. There we go. Now we're just gonna reuse message at this point. And we reason not to. I guess I could make it its own function, really. I'm not sure why I'm doing this. If I do it like this, I'm gonna have to re-implement it in every single input system, which is not optimal. So yeah, I'm just gonna do that. System, we're just gonna have a folder which is called inputs. It's going to be get input from queue. .ts. Here we go. It's going to be export function async. No, directly. That's going to be get input from queue. There we go. And the queue is going to return a message option of a message. There we go. All right. Now we're just gonna paste this. Let message. We need to report this. Is resolved. We don't need this. We just need to return the value. There we go. Is resolved. Is not important. Copy this. And if not, we're just going to return as value as false and the value being undefined. Right. So this way, we have a unified function for doing it. It's way better than what I have going on here. All right, so now I don't need to push to the queue. We just need to make sure that we resolve with something, but actually I'm gonna make double sure to make sure we don't actually resolve multiple times, because it's something that can happen with promises in JavaScript. So is resolved equals true. But first we're gonna have to check if is resolved, we're just gonna return. There we go. And then we're gonna resolve with the answer. Except it's not actually an answer we need, it's a message, so it's going to be... It's actually an option. Okay, so as value equals true. There we go, the value is going to be a message. The message is going to be same as usual. We are gonna need a username, which is going to be user for now. The content is going to be the answer, and the... I can't write. Why can't I write? Is it because I have... Yep. And trusted is going to be true because it's from the console. Alright. And once we have that, we just return. It should work. I think. Alright. So we have this, which should work. But now we're gonna do something else. For the main loop, we're gonna call the functions we called before. And so that's going to be let input is gonna be equals to get input from queue. That's a direct function, it's not a sync, so we can just check. We're gonna do if input.asValue not. We're gonna do What do I do? What do I want to do this? Because it's something that can be... can have a lot of nesting real quick. Let's just roll with it for now. We always have the time to make things right. So input. Just gonna add everything we need to the module init and module 3. Okay, so we have const input, which is going to be equals to I input system, which is going to be a new input system console. There we go. We're gonna call input dot init and also pass it to this input. Modules does not accept input, so we need to modify it. So input it's gonna be equal. It's gonna be of type I input system. There we go. It's gonna be this dot input is equals of dash input, and we need to add this I input. There we go. So init is fine, and model 3 we also need to add this. So that's gonna be await modules dot input dot 3. Alright, now that we have this, it should be fine. We can just go to the main loop. We do await await, we do await, so it's going to be wifoo dot modules dot input, and we're gonna do get input. Right, now there's an issue with this, right? It's because it's going to wait infinitely to see if the user inputs something in the console. That's not what we want, because we need also to have a way to get Twitch chat messages. The issue is if we get blocked by this function, then, well, we can't actually get back to the code execution, so that's bad. Let me think about this. The thing is, if we do a timeout, well, the user input is just going to get discarded, so it's not what we want, of course. So maybe I wasn't that wrong at the first intuition. But we need to push it to the input queue, message queue. Yep. Yeah, I'm gonna go with that. We're gonna modify this. That's going to be input system console. How though? How? How do we handle this? Clearly we have an issue with there. Because we cannot... I guess what we could do is make sure to call the question again. Every time it's going to... It's kind of weird. It's kind of a weird way of doing it. Let's have some weird recursive function for this. I'm not sure if it's the right way of doing it, but yeah. It's the best way I can think of right now. So we're gonna have a const my brain is fried. It's fried. How do I do this? How do I do this? So it needs to be called first, then we get the answer, and if the answer... we have an answer, then we need to call it again. But we can't smash the call stack, so we need to do something smart. Alright, so it's going to be const... get console input. Yes, so it's going to be a function like this. And we're gonna call it at the end console input. There we go. And the idea is we're gonna need this. Inside there. We don't have any resolve for this. We're just going to do wifu.state.message queue. dot push. I'm gonna push that. Except it's not an optional, we just need to push this. Alright, there we go. There is no is resolved. And once we have this, we're going to do set immediate. I'm gonna do get console input. I think... No, Hilda is not getting replaced anytime soon. Just the internal workings of it that's getting replaced. Can I even do that? Is it going to go out of scope if I do this? If I just call it again, I feel like I might just have an issue with the call stack. It's an interesting dilemma. I think I'm just gonna roll with it for now. And for this, we're just going to return. Return as value can't. Let's make it async. As value false. Because I know for a fact that some functions like this are going to be useful, so I'm going to keep it for now. So value undefined, nope, it's weird, undefined, there we go. Seems useless for now, but it's going to be useful later. Alright, now that we check, can we get rid of this? Yes, let's go. So we get the input from Q, which should appear inside the queue if we type something in the console. No, I'm streaming on the second channel. This one. And so input as value. So it should get called by this. Right. We take the input from the queue, we roll with it. If we do not have a value from there, we get input, we await for it. I'm gonna say input equals await this. Thing line is not access. Assignable to type, blah 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 blah. Okay, let's make sure it's not undefined then. Alright. And now we can just pass input to it. Except nope. So that's going to be input value dot content. Something like this. Alright, an LLM that's not just going to be LLM, that's going to be even more complex. It's going to be wfu.modules.llm. I think. It's possibly undefined. Who cares? Alright. We have a result. And I think everything should be in order. Do I have any errors in my files? It looks clean. Let's build this. Module interface, LM. Let's remove this. It's not module, it's I module. Go, we build again. Can we run it? Can read properties of undefined reading content. So we are returning something undefined. Right, because I'm not checking if we are actually getting a value from it. Which makes sense, right? I guess I need a wrapper function for this. It would be way easier. We can just do an early return instead of having a weird spaghetti code. Let's do that. Let's do that. Input system. Get inputs. I guess I could just rename one of the files. This input. Well, we have a file named input. Let's do this. New file is going to be input wrapper. Is that a good name? No, sounds like shit. Let's just do get input. Let's make it as generic as possible. Since it's a wrapper function, we don't really care about it. Okay, so export, that's going to be a async function. Just going to be get input. There we go. We don't need any value, but we're going to return a promise option type for, and please have it for message. There we go. Over with this, get input, we're gonna just copy anything we have in the main loop and make it a bit more clean. There we go, get input up there, get input from queue, just need to import it. AI Vtuber. So instead of checking if we don't have value, we're gonna check if it has the value. If it has the value, we're going to return the input itself. There we go. Else we're gonna do input equals this. So we're just going to like that, and we're gonna do if same input as value. We return the inputs, else we're going to return the optional type with no value. That's going to be as value is false, and the value is undefined. There we go. So main loop, now we just need to get let input equals to get input. And we need to await it to make sure. I think it should be fine. Now this looks a lot more clean. And already I think we have something that is a bit easier to understand than what we have on the V2 or the package. Alright, will it work? Let's first we also need to check in that case if input.asValue does not have value, then it's an issue because we are just going to run the CPU in circle. Okay, so what we can do is we await for a weird amount of time, so it's going to be a new promise with a resolver, and we set timeout right? Timeout, which is going to be like 50 milliseconds. It's enough to not overload the CPU. Okay, callback is going to be resolved. And 50 milliseconds. There we go. 50 milliseconds is not going to be significant in the latency. So I think it's fine if we use that. And now that we have it, we return from the main loop, which is going to call itself again. This way we make sure that we don't overwork the CPU for nothing. And we should be able to build this and run it. Yep. Start. And we'll also again have an issue. Value the content. Cannot read properties of undefined reading content. It means input value is undefined. Right, because I fucked it up. It's if it has not value. Let's build it again. Let's start again. Alright, and now we have something. Okay. Will it work? Can I just say hello? And it says you again. Okay. That's not what I expected. I expected it to write maybe the console. To the console the output. Is it for some reason? Is it buffering the output and it doesn't work? That could be the issue, that could be it. That could be it. Or maybe it's just not doing what I think it does. Let's add a console debug print statement somewhere in the input from console. Yeah, we're just gonna have a console dot please log. It's going to be got input. We build that. Alright, run it. Okay, let's test. So it got the input. So that means that technically it should be doing its work, right? Because we're pushing it to the message queue. Except we are not getting anything from the message queue. Which is weird. So we're just going to have another print statement just to make sure. Get input from queue. Gift. So it should happen there. We have a message, it should happen there. So we're going to do console.log send inputs. There we go. Let's build it. Could very well be an issue with the way I'm doing it. Maybe it's preventing any output, but I doubt it. It's some other stupid reason why. So I'm just gonna test, and we got input, but we don't receive the input. If I do it again, no. So we don't receive the input. Interesting. Okay, so get input from queue, we implement this here. If input has value, we return input, except we don't actually receive anything. It's kind of interesting. Right, so let's get back to how we do it, right? We call get input. So technically, if we have anything sent to the message queue, it should have been picked up. Oh, is it because I'm using the wrong function for some reason? No, it's not. But because shift is going to remove the first element. So it makes sense. Wouldn't make sense if I use unshift. So these two should make sense. These two should make sense. Except... Oh. Did you catch it? Guys, did you catch it? I'm using priority queue on both of them. That's why. Dumb mistake, it's message queue instead of it. Alright. Now I get it. And we can start. Try it out, test, and we get both test, got input, send input. But we have the weird fucking bug here where we have u, which is written before send input. I guess we could just get rid of the message before the thing, because I'm pretty sure I could just write there. It'll be fine. Alright. Yeah, let's go with it. So we don't need this debug message. The console, we don't need this either. And we are going to remove the question string. There we go. Build. Start. This is a test. No, freak you. Alright, and it works as expected. Except now we have the same issue as we had before, which is we need... Do we need? No, we don't. It's fine, it's going to return this anyway, so we don't really have an issue right now. It's polling correctly. Back to the main loop. Right, so we get input. We get input from queue. This should return nothing, so it's fine. If we don't have anything, we return an option value with as value false, which in the main loop should get picked up by this, by the card close. And we wait 15 milliseconds before restarting the main loop. Makes sense. Alright. Now, is it time? Is it time? Is it time to blank the screen, because I'm going to use the off token for the 11 labs implementation. Let me just make sure I'm doing everything correctly. Yes. Putting everything inside the record, so it's fine. How do we do it for OpenAI again? Where's OpenAI? LLM. OpenAI. Right, so that's that. Just need to copy this. We go to the TTS 11 labs. And we put that there. There we go. We're just going to change it a bit. That's going to be 11 labs. And for that, I'm going to blank the screen for a second because I'm gonna have to copy stuff. Alright, let's go in there. Making sure I don't leak anything. I close this. I go in the .env file. It's going to be 11 labs API key equals this. I save, then I copy something else to not dox myself, which I just did right there, which is fine. Alright, and it should be just fine. Let's get the screen back. Oh yeah, I don't want this. Alright. Will it work? Right. So, to recapitulate, the audio file should spawn inside the assets audio folder. If everything works correctly, which of course is up to debate. So we go main loop, console log, that's fine and all. Just gonna log this, and we're gonna do const TTS results. Yep, it's going to be await wifu.modules.tts.generate, and we're gonna generate the string. So the string is going to be result.value. There we go, and the args we're going to. This voice is going to be equal to something something. I guess it's really time to have a config for this, because it's going to become a bit of an issue if I have everything written inside the source code. Let me blank the screen again, just to be sure. I'm not sure if leaking the voice is also a leak. Just to make sure, I'm going to blank the screen, and we're gonna add a new API key for this. Go.env is going to be 11 labs voice. Let's voice what? Voice ID. There we go. And we're going to copy this from the config here, which is blah blah. It's in presets. Config preset. Check for 11 labs, 11 labs. No, actually it's not. It's in the character file, my bad. Okay, characters, that's in this one. Format document, we copy this. We add it there. Save, we close, we copy this, close this. Alright, Alright. Should be fine now. So, we need to go back to this. We're going to copy this. We're going to copy the voice. And that's not API key, that's voice ID. And that should be enough. And we're just going to console.log the path of the audio file. So that's going to be, we're gonna need a guard clause first. So it's going to be if tts result dot as value not have anything. And assume modules is working correctly. There we go. We'll do same here, console. Got the response from 11 labs. And we return. And we're gonna get TTS results value dot the path of it. There we go. Now we build. And we start. Where was I? Main loop. Start. Okay. Hey, what's up? Okay, and we got a correct path. So now if we check the audio file, we should have something. Let me just get in the actual file. So desktop, that's v3, assets, audio, and we play the audio.
Not much, just enjoying some ice cream. What's up with you?
And I'm not sure if it's playing on stream because it's very low. It's pretty low.
Hello? Not much, just enjoying some ice cream. What's up with you?
Alright, so we got TTS running. Now we need a way to play the TTS, right? So usually the easiest way to play TTS is I can't talk, my bad. It's to have something with Python, because Python for some reason has the best library for it, but JavaScript does not, okay? So it's using some weird, dumb stuff. So I'm just not going to use JavaScript for this. No, I kind of want ice cream. Yeah, so what I used to do for this in particular is I used to have a Python subprocess running in the background, which only purpose would be to play the TTS on the selected audio device. And it sucks, but I don't think we have any other choice. I'm gonna be honest. Right? Because not only do we need something that's going to be reading .wav files, but we're also going to need something that is going to be reading .mp3 files, right? And that's just too much. That's just too much for JavaScript and Node.js, of course. Unless something has changed in the past year. Let me just do a quick search. JavaScript, Node.js, play mp3 file. Okay. Play audio with Node.js. Let us check. Child process. Command line name player to play. Okay, so that's a bad idea. I would suggest using Node Speaker, which just puts raw PCM data to your speakers. Okay, so that sounds like a good thing. Let's check it out. Okay, so we call speakers, channel, bit depth, simple rate. Okay. Okay, this could work, I think. Seems to work fine with Linux and Windows, which is a plus. Interesting. Let's check the actual source of the code. So we got binding.c. So it's in C, so that's a plus. That means it's actually doing something useful. Okay. So there's a bunch of assets. Speaker malloc says of speaker. Okay. Rate. This device. Now I want the playing. Speaker write. Axi. Tada. Assert. Promise. Work name. Work. Speaker close, get format, init. Okay, so it's doing something. That's good to know. Now, let's check the tests. Alright, so it's checking the Indianness of the OS, it's fine. Alright. I don't see any issues with this. Okay, on Debian Ubuntu, the ASA backend is selected by default. So be sure to have the asa.h header file in place. That sounds like a load of BS. Interesting. Alright, well I guess we can try. So we're going to install this, install speaker. Just make sure npm, we have npm package here. .ci, nope. Npm speaker. Okay. Sorry for the flashbang, by the way. Okay, we're just gonna go with npm install package speaker. There we go. We need a new terminal. And everything is fine. One thing I'm gonna make sure to do is to not actually use relative versions for this, because I had so many issues with this, with the V2. So I'm just gonna use straight up these versions, and this, if these versions don't work anymore, well, it's an issue I'll have to fix in the future. But the amounts of issues I had with this weird versioning is actually insane. Alright, now that we have this, can we just import speaker? I guess we should. Okay, so that's going to be import speaker, everything as speaker from Speaker. Oh, there is promises too. Let me check. Speaker. And promises. So I guess it's going to be the difference between if it's sync or async. Okay, let's check. Speaker dot. Let me just read the documentation for once. Okay, so we do call speaker, require speaker, new speaker. Okay, that's a weird way of doing it. Is it everything as a speaker, from speaker? And we do let speaker equals new speaker. This expression is not constructible. The type of speaker has no construct signature. That sucks. Okay. I'm just gonna stick with this for now. There's going to be new speaker dot how do I do this? Stream, pass through, duplex. Issue is, doesn't seem to be made to be used with TypeScript for some reason. So right there it's used as a constructor. Fuck this. Import, can I import? I'm gonna import nothing and a speaker. Okay. It should be fine if I do this. Now we actually do speaker. And does it work? It does, okay. That's fine. Now we have bit def and everything. So I'm guessing it's going to need a .wav for this. Bro, this is big dev ASMR. I was sleeping. Nice. Okay, Alright, so it's PCM, so if it's PCM, that's going to be... That's gonna need a .wav for sure. Here's an example of piping STD into the speaker, which should 2-channel 16-bit audio, 44, 100, blah 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 blah. Okay, now one thing they don't see is okay, PCM data from STDN gets piped into the speaker. So do we need to... Do we need to write audio file to STDN? I'm guessing that's what they want us to do. Which is a weird way of doing it, but it's fine. Do they have any examples? I think they do. So they have sign STDN. What a great example. That's yep, that's it. That's yep, exactly. Okay, fine. Sign. Okay. My friend. Okay, so that's if they want to create their own WAV waves. Buff. Interesting. I guess if I use this, I'm gonna have to handle the writing of WAV files directly to SDN, which seems like a pain in the ass. Oh yeah, by the way, what do you think of Hilda GTID? Yeah, I really don't know how to start with this. I'm not sure. I think it could be interesting. I never played GTA, what is it, San Andreas? I can't really tell you how it works. But yeah, I think it could be interesting. It's just how do you make Hilda react to things that happen, right? Because if it's just a playthrough of San Andreas, but the only thing that is different is that she has I have a model of her in game. I don't know, man. I think if we have, I'll maybe react to the playthrough. Maybe it would be interesting. But right now I don't have the vision part nailed, so I can't tell. Right int, def, offset. Seems like a pain in the ass. We're playing something like MP3 files, you need to decode it first to PCM data, which makes sense. Which is exactly what NodeLame does, where we can just use FFmpeg for this. I'm just going to bundle it with the application. Sound plays dog shit, I remember using it. Like at this point, it's... Yeah, I think I'm just gonna go with the Python process. It sounds like 10 times better. Just gonna go with it. Okay, terminal, new terminal. I go npm uninstall. It's going to be speaker. NMP, of course. It's npm. And we have this shit out of our life. Alright. Hello, it's C4GX. Okay, so we're gonna create an interface for the audio playing. So it's going to be source, a new folder. Audio player. Maybe if I want to change which audio player to choose at some time, so it's going to be audio player interface .yes .yes. There we go. Export interface. It's going to be audio player. That's going to be extending module. There we go. And so for the audio player, we just need a function that's going to be play audio, of course. Yeah, it's exclusively dev. Sometimes I have it down, but it's... I don't do any promises for this. Alright, audio player. I guess one thing we need to do is to convert whichever file we have to either .wav or .mp3. And I'm just not going to handle it with audio player. I think it's better if we do it another way. So we're just gonna have a play audio function. Play audio, please. I can't write for the life of me. Play audio. We're gonna take a path. It's gonna take some args. Alright, so we export type. It's going to be AP args. Okay, so how I did it before is I have basically either it's narrator, either it's not narrator. And it's going to choose which audio device to play on, depending on if it's the narrator or not. Alright, so I think I'm just going to have an enum for this. Enum, is it enum class? Weird. No, enum class is for C++, I think. It's weird. Anyway, it's going to be audio channel. Yep. Let's go with that. So we're gonna have main. We have what is the reverse of main? It's auxiliary. It's other. Let's go with other. Yep. And we're just gonna have this. So we're gonna have channel. No, that's going to be device. Device. There we go. Device of type enum audio device. And there we go. Do we need anything else? So we need a path, we need a device, and if we assume the TTS is going to be handled on its own way, we don't need anything else. Okay, so we're just gonna do that, and we're gonna pass args, which is gonna be of type AP args. There we go, and path is gonna be of type string. Yes, we need the ID. The ID, that's what I thought. Which is also gonna be a string. And the ID is going to be used if we want to recognize which audio stream has finished playing. Alright. There we go. So play audio is going to return a promise void, because we don't really need to get the status. And I think we have everything we need, so we just need a new file. So it's going to be audio player. That's going to be Python .ts. There we go. And for that, we're gonna do export class. I can't write. Export class. It's going to be audio player Python just going to implement AI audio player. There we go. Alright, with init function, free function, and play audio. And for the init function, which is interesting, we're gonna need a child process. So that's going to be import everything as cproc from child process. There we go. And child process is an actual mess to get right. So we need a private field for this. So it's going to be player, which is going to be a cproc.childProcess. I'm gonna do init this dot player is gonna be equal to cproc dot, and that's going to be spawn, because we want to not make it synchronous. Alright, so command options. So commands, as far as I know, no, it's okay. So it's a string followed by arguments, and we need to make sure that we don't pass any unsanitized arguments to it, of course. CWD is going to be process. My bad. Process. I can't write. Process please. .cwd. arg0, it's fine. UID, it's fine. Timeout, it's fine. Windows side. Detached. Yes. I think. Do we need to detach it? I don't know, it depends. Sometimes you do, sometimes you don't. I'm gonna have to check that real quick. Let me just... What do I do for TTS Novel AI? Initialize. We have the WebSocket. Oh no, not this one, because I'm playing it directly within the Python process, so we need Azure for this. Okay, player, spawn sync, audio path, some reason, detached, and shell or false. Then we pipe stdr and std out to our own std. Then we have a WebSocket server for this. I could spawn up a process every time we're going to play a sound, except it's pretty bad when it comes to latency. Pretty sure. Let me try it out. Python. It's kind of fine. Is it that bad? I guess it could be fine. So we don't have to do a WebSocket server. The issue is, if we do it that way, we can't really... No, I think it's fine actually. Fine. I'm speaking out of my ass. Okay, let's do it. We need to play audio, which means we're going to spin up the Python process. For that, we're just going to write Python for now, but that's pretty bad. We're not going to do it because we're gonna most certainly use a VNV for this. but for now we're just going to say Python. We're going to assume that the first argument is going to be the path to the audio, right? Which is going to end in .wav. So I think that's one thing we could do, is do a sort of assert for this. If path dot ends with .wav, it doesn't, we are going to print an error. So it's going to be console dot warn cannot play dot, no, can only play dot wav files using, right, play audio. Alright, and we return, but that means we need to make it async. Alright, player Python, I'm gonna pass the path as first argument. It's not resolved, that's fine. Alright, so we can create the player. We want to see the error messages. So for that, we're going to copy what we did there. Data io.warn, that's going to be a console.warn. And console.log. There we go. This way we are not in the dark, and so we need detached to be false and the shell to be false. There we go. Right, I'm guessing we need to get the we need to know which audio device to play it on. So we're gonna have to take another argument for this. What happened to the error message count, the error stream layout? Change it a bit. You can, it's not errors anymore. You have status messages when someone follows or something like this. It's going to show up. At the start, it's going to show Hilda's escape containment. Then it's going to show if someone donates, for example, it's going to show up there. Also, if someone gets nuked. Interrupt, generate speech. Oh yeah, we do need to interrupt. Yep, we're gonna need to interrupt. That's something we need to do. So we pass arguments. So the first argument is not going to be path, it's going to be the audio device. For that we need to get the actual audio device. For that we're just going to use a weird audio device. So it's going to be temp audio device. For now we're just going to use 0 because I don't know actually which one to use, and we're just gonna pass temp audio device as an arg, but we're gonna need to make it a string, so it's going to be string. Let's make it that way. There we go. Okay, so now we know which audio device to play it on and what's the path of the audio file. That should be enough. That should be enough. Alright, audio player. Okay, I think I'm gonna end there. It's way too late for me right now. Hope you guys had a good time, I guess, and I think I'm gonna have a stream tomorrow. After tomorrow, we're gonna have a Part.2 collab. Yep. Everyone, have a good night and have a good one. Ciao. Okay, by the way, if you want, let me just check real quick. We can rate someone. Yeah, nobody. All right, let's end it right now. Have a good night, everyone. Ciao.